Filming? Is this live? Hey everybody, hope everybody had a great weekend. I actually had something happen here on Saturday that has never happened to me before. I got ammonia in my eye. I was outside loading up cotton balls with ammonia and throwing them underneath the deck along with some mothballs, throwing them underneath the deck. And I'm down on my hands and knees. It's the high part of the deck. And the wind comes along, tips the ball over, and the whole thing goes like all over my face, all into my eye, my right eye, and all that kind of stuff. Now, normally I'm not a cautious person, and anybody who's driven with me can attest to that. So I thought, well, I'll just wipe it off and keep on going. And then it started to burn. So now I start to panic a little bit. I think, oh boy, I better. So I come tearing into the house and throw off my coat. I go rushing over to the kitchen sink. I'm holding my head underneath the sink, got the water going full blast, and there's Diane's going, what are you doing? I said, well, I got ammonia in my eye. So she helps me, with the flushing and all that kind of stuff, and put some Visine in my eye, and then I do some more flushing, and it's still burning a bit. And I thought, I can't take any more of this flushing. It's been like 15 minutes. It's like torture, It's not, but it doesn't feel good. So I think, well, yeah, I'll look on the internet. There's a mistake. I'm yelling out to Diane as I'm reading it. I'm going to go blind. Well, it's eating through my retina right now. It's going into my brain, and I'm going to go crazy. She's going, yeah, okay, David, whatever. So anyway, it doesn't stop hurting. So I think, well, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm not going to the hospital over something like this. And then I thought, oh, telehealth. Someone told me about this telehealth. I'd never tried it before. So I'd find the number. I'd call them up. I don't know if you've ever used it. What a service. I phone them. I'm talking to somebody in like 2 to 3 minutes. Take all my stuff. They hook me up with a nurse. She calls back like 2 minutes later, hooks me up with poison control. Everything's, you're fine, just rest, all that stuff. It's all going to be okay. So anyway, I'm not going blind. You may wonder why I'm throwing cotton balls soaked in ammonia under our deck. Skunks is the reason. I know in Toronto and Peel, the pest animal are raccoons. Out here in Burlington, they're skunks. They're all over the place. Typically, I don't care. They're friendly. Well, they're not friendly, but they're quiet. They keep to themselves. It sounds like I'm describing a serial killer. But they don't bother anybody if you don't bother them. I'm having a cigar at night, and they walk like this far away from me. We kind of look at each other and carry on. It's all good. So anyway, that was all fine until Christmas a couple of years ago. I guess it was 2018. We have everybody over the house, the boys and all their family and that, and we have dinner and everything's great. And all the local people go home. And Jesse, my youngest guy, he lives in Ottawa, so he stays overnight. So they got young kids, so they go to bed like 9, 10 o'clock. Diane and I stay up for a while, and I had a drink and whatever. We're just talking and stuff. So about 1:30, we're just going to bed, and this smell comes into the house, like it's overpowering. It's literally makes you cry. It's so bad. It's like, and we look at each other and go, skunks. But it seriously smells like they're underneath the bed or right beside you. So we get up and we're walking through the house, and then we start to kind of panic a little bit and think, is it skunks? Is it that? It kind of smells like gas. So now we're really starting to worry. Jesse comes into the living room and he goes, Dad, what is that smell? And I said, I think it's skunks. And he says, what, are they in the house? I said, no. And I said, it might be gas. And he kind of looks at me, his eyes get wide, and he goes, okay, I got to go check on the kids. So he goes back into their room. And 2 or 3 minutes later, they all come trucking out. They're holding their kids in their arms. He looks at me and says, we're leaving. I said, you're leaving? It's 2:30 in the morning. He goes, yeah, I know. Like, but we're leaving. We're going to a hotel, stay in a hotel. I said, all right. So they go to the hotel, and they're checking in the hotel. And they're getting kind of weird looks. By this time, it's like 3/4 after or whatever. And the check-in lady is looking at him weird, like I said. And Jessie says, well, we were at my dad's, and they had a bit of a skunk problem. She goes, yeah, I can tell. And so they reeked, we reeked. Meanwhile, back at our place, we finally decide it could be gas, so we're going to phone the gas guy. It's going to be a couple hours. Get out of the house right away, they say, and don't go back in, open the windows. So we do that, and I'm thinking, it's as good a time as any for a scotch and cigar. So we're standing out there, it's freezing cold. Diane goes to McDonald's, gets a hot chocolate. I'm having a scotch and a cigar. Our neighbor comes out. We have this party on our driveway in the middle of the night. It's great. And then the gas guy comes. He puts a lock on the thing and says it should be fine. Somebody come back in the morning. You can go back in the house. I don't think it's gas. So we go back in, freezing cold. The windows are all open. We have no heat. So we make it through the night. The guy comes the next day and it's all fine. So anyway, it wasn't that. It wasn't the furnace, rather. It wasn't gas. But we found out the issue was the intake for the furnace is underneath the deck where the skunks were. So, and later on, we're looking out the window in the daytime, and there's this big old dead skunk, all fours on the ground, deader than a doornail. And we figured they're having a fight over control in the den. And so ever since then, we've never had any other problems. Until a few nights ago, I'm in the garage, and I see skunks burrowing underneath our deck again. So I said to Diana, there's no way that I'm going to let that happen. We got to get him out of there. Because as I forgot to tell you, one of my kids is my grandson's leaving. And he goes, Daddy, I never want to come back here again. I thought, well, we can't have that. So that's why I was lobbing this stuff underneath the deck. So anyway, I was going to talk about Mohawk, but how much? No, okay. We have nowhere near enough time. I'm sorry. Well, I'll do it next week. But we do have time for the bad joke of the week. Turns out some scientists got together and they were studying how alcohol affects a person's walk. The results were staggering. That's it. I'll see you next week.